Hey guys, you're probably wondering where the heck I am right now. Well, I'm up here in an abandoned location up in Mount Diablo, if you know about, and the pool. Well, what's left of it. It's not a jail cell, if that's what you were wondering. Anyways, if you're new to the channel, we're always doing stuff about trails and tips and tricks and cool things about the Bay Area, wildflowers. I got the What's Bloomin' Now series. Check that out too. And I'm going to tell you about this location and also guide you through it. So, all right, stay tuned. All right, so where is this location? Where exactly is it on the mountain, and why is there nobody here on a weekend on Mt Diablo on a sunny day? Why am I wearing this dorky hat? All those answers coming soon. And also a little bit of history about this location. Let's go ahead and discuss that. Why am I wearing this dorky hat? Well, one of the reasons I wear this hat is to keep the sun away from my ears that are exposed and get burned up in the sun, because it keeps a lot of sun off my face. Real good to wear in the summer. It's not really quite there for the heat yet, but I thought I'd wear it today. It's a cool hat, and nobody is out here. What's really cool about this location is not only is it a cool place to have lunch, the southeast section of Mt Diablo as well as the east section of Mt Diablo, less traffic than the other areas of Mt Diablo. And Mt Diablo as a whole is very diverse as a mountain, but this is the few visited locations of the mountain. So a lot of people don't know about it. You do have to be really cautious coming through here, especially if you got your kids with you, because see in the video, the pool's pretty deep. It goes 8.5 feet of depth pool, and then if you add on the other extended space above that, you're looking about a 9 to 10 foot drop. So you don't want to have your kids fall in there. You have to be really, really cautious about that. So take cautions and safety as a #1 priority. The hike is fairly pretty easy. I call it more of an easy to moderate hike. It's not too hard. It's just a few miles. Cool place to go. All right, so let's go ahead and get that GoPro up and go through the trail. I'm gonna wear my dorky duck hat. All right, so we're at the Oak Knoll picnic area, and you'll see the sign right there. You have Summit Road going up that way towards the summit. And then on the right, you can park your car, but if that's full, you can always park it to the left over there. We're going to be taking the Oak Knoll Trail here, which will take you to Green Ranch Road. That's the one we're going to take. Now, real quickly, above here on the picnic area on the right-hand side, I'm going to check the water. Looks like that we're out of water, so we have no water here. And then I'm going to go ahead and just shortly down below the bathrooms there. By the way, if you need to use the facility, that is available. I'm going to check the water here. So we're going to do a check here, and water is out completely. I have no water coming through there. They've shut the tap line off. So that is something you need to be mindful of, especially in the summer. A lot of times they will shut the water off, so you want to have enough water. I always carry 3 liters of water with me in the summer, especially up here in Mt Diablo. It gets pretty hot. We'll go through that in just a second, because I'm going to show you one other key little trick here you want to be mindful of. So watch me go around this tree here, and I kind of put it in slow motion for you. I'm going to be cautious and look to the right. When I've got a cavity or a tree, check my right and then cautiously get myself around. Now, I could have got a little bit more to the left if I wanted to, but it is something that you want to be cautious of. When there's a cavity in a tree, you know, down below a tree, a rattlesnake would love to just sit in there and kind of just take a nice leisure rest, and it's something you want to be cautious of. You know, they could strike you. Most of them don't like to, but it's always something you want to be mindful of. Keep your eyes and ears and everything all opened up, and be fully aware of what's going on. So we're going to continue on, and other thing is to be mindful of, so when it's really hot, to bring that water, especially this side of the mountain, because a lot of these trees are burned up, so you're getting a lot of sun exposure. So you want to be mindful of having enough water. I always carry 3 liters of water with me on Mt Diablo in the summer, and almost all the time if I'm doing a longer hike. This hike's only a few miles, so you know, 1.5 liters would probably do you fine, just depending on how much water you're taking in. But if you're doing longer than that, you want to start bringing in more water. Okay, so here we have a lot of shrubs. They're in each direction, and that's another location you want to be cautious of. Rattlesnakes will love to kind of just sit here and relax. You just want to be mindful of them. You don't want to bother them. Don't be throwing your sticks at them or pick them up or There's some lady on the trail years back, like, oh, just pick them up and throw them. No, you do not ever do that. Do not bother them. Just work your way around the snake. It's not something that you need to take it to the next step and try to be, you know, some kind of Rambo. We're going to continue on. A lot of this stuff's been burned up and some of it's trying to come back. Pretty area though. Let's see here. Let's get you up the hill. So there's a little bit of climbing, not too much, and a little bit on the way back, but for the most part this is pretty easy to moderate for some people. I don't find it to be difficult at all. And then, I got lucky here with this weather. We've got some clouds. Perfect kind of stuff you want to be looking for. And it adds for really awesome shots. Alright, so this is the Oak Knoll single track trail that we just came from, and this is where it connects into the Green Ranch Trail. And up above there, we'll take you to the summit, it'll get you to the water silo. And to the right here, which is where we're going to go, that's the following down the Green Ranch Trail, we're going to go towards Frog Pond. And we're going to keep going, and you got all these wonderful oaks here. A lot of remnants of what the fire had done back in the day. Here we are. And we're going to keep going down, 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 down. It's a really pretty area. You can see there's a lot of iron and in the soil. But we're going to keep following through here. These oaks are so beautiful. And these look like they're fully healthy, that they didn't get scorched. They just don't have the leaves this time of year. Now, I'm assuming that they've got to have some Garys here, Gary oaks, but I'm going to have to research that. I was supposed to do that today, but I didn't get around to it. And then they've got some black oaks as well, and then some lives and some other good stuff. I'm going to have to go further into the spring and find out exactly where these trees are, because I obsess over black oaks. I get all excited. So we're going to keep following the Green Ranch Trail towards the Frog Pond. And we're going to keep going, and just, these oaks. So beautiful. California is just fantastic, isn't it? And the trail conditions are pretty well off there. They're a little bit muddy in areas, but that stuff dries off pretty fast. A lot of rock in the soil here, and just easy-going trails. You know, it's probably because there's no cows on the trail. You know, it definitely helps. I'm becoming less and less of a fan of them. You can see that charcoaled up wood there. Oh, it's not really wood, it's a tree, a log, a loggage. That's all burned up. It's kind of a creepy, mysterious location. I guess, you know, the remnants of the old house, you know, wouldn't make sense of giving you out that vibe. But, so we're going to keep going. Now you can kind of see in the distance there's some brick structure there. And then I think I'm going to glance to the right here a little bit. And then you can see that. Also, the marker there. You ready for this? Because I am. Let's get the gear up. Time to rock and roll. For the Green Ranch Trail is right there. And there's really no plaque. Maybe they used to have one that explained more of the house, but it got burned up in the fire. I'm not really sure. I don't remember there being a plaque there before the fire happened. But so you're probably all wondering if the fire that we recently happened on Mount Diablo, the big fire with the person that was shooting a gun, that ricocheted and caused a fire. It did not burn from that fire. I'll get to that in a minute. So a lot of this brick here, and then they've got, you know, you can see there's electrical outlets, so they were operating, you know, into the 60s. It's a little bit more modern. So there's modern stuff tied in with not so modern We'll go around here. This brick is old. I mean, this is the kind of brick that people want to build in their backyard because it's the older, cooler brick, but it's got all that chemical and stuff in it. Obviously used to be a toilet. There's remnants of porcelain shattered about, and then you can see that there used to be some kind of patio here. I'm assuming this was like the cabin or the little quarters for the worker, and then there's some writing spray paint there. I don't know where it is. Some of these young teenagers have to mark their territory like canines. I just don't get it. It's like we are watching, or where it said, like, okay. So we're gonna keep going through here, and I'll go through a little brief history of this location. Now, it belonged to the Green family. They spent their summer days and nights at the house. And they, Mr. Green, Robert Green, who used to be a lawyer in Berkeley, bought this 180-acre property in 1938 by some Garcia brothers. They basically gave up raising cattle and decided to give it over to Robert Green. And he gave it to his wife, and Deborah Bixby Green. I can't even pronounce my own name, so bear with me. Bixby Green. Anyway, Deborah Green was a wealthy Orange County. She had a wealthy Orange County family. She was a big horse rider. She loved to go out there and ride the old horses. And you can see that there's the pipeline there, and then we've got all the branches and stuff. So, this is one of the more flatter areas of Mount Diablo. One of the very few flat areas of Mount Diablo is Meridian Flat there. And it's a perfect location to put a house. I mean, it's nice and smooth. There's really barely any incline. And then all the rest of the mountain is pretty inclined, especially the eastern side of the mountain. So this is right when the east connects in with that south, and it starts getting pretty jaggedy and steep. So this is right before that, and you have that nice plateau. This is a tennis court they had, and also a basketball court as well. Looks like the state had come in, or somebody came in and cleaned this up a little bit, because I remember it being, having a bunch of other debris on there. Maybe somebody came up here and threw some debris off of it. I'm not really entirely sure. And the state doesn't close this off. They tried years ago to get this all removed, but I'll show you why they probably aren't doing it. Court and then the basketball court up there. So they started building the house in the 1940s and on to the 1950s. They did some renovations. And she had a bunch of kids, and then she passed away. So they had a bunch of summer parties here and good times. But in 1958, his wife passed away, and then Mr. Green didn't have any interest in the property. There's a bed here. It's probably a flower bed of some kind. Maybe she had roses in there. I tried to look around for any evidence of plants, but there was really none. I'm going to have to get the expert up here. So here's the pool, and you have the shallow end there, and then it goes into the deeper end. And there's 8.5 feet is the deepest part of the pool, and everything's kind of like painted on there in green, the figure, and it's painted on to mark the depth of the pool. And 8.5 is, I don't really see that with many pools these days. It's usually either 8, 7. Oh, I guess you do. Yeah, you still see halves. The pool here has got some water. There's probably about a good 3 feet of water in there, and there's some frogs that like to, they were talking to me the whole time. And then, pretty cool. And I don't recommend you come through here with the kids. This is the stuff you need to be careful of, because you've got a big drop here. I mean, 8.5 foot drop plus the extended cement above that. So you're looking at about 10 feet. So you want to be really cautious if you're bringing your kids through here, and keep your eyes on them, because they can slip, fall. See, me and Beth have had this conversation about this area. Like, give you my point of view of why the city's not going to come through here and do anything about this. Why the state's not doing anything about this. Forget the city. So why isn't the state doing anything about my theory of it? And I know they've tried to get this removed because it's not, natural. They're not going to have somebody come out here with a jackhammer and get all this stuff torn to bits. Now, if they did that, they're going to have to pay several days of labor to come out here and jackhammer it, okay? And then you got to get it all out of here. Pool, but also a tennis court and some other foundations of the home that you'd have to take out of here to spend the money to do that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of concrete. It might not look like much, but you start breaking that stuff apart, you're dealing with some massive chunks of concrete. I mean, we're talking way, way over 50 tons of concrete. So, here I am being a fool and trying to balance myself across. I don't recommend doing this because there is some cracks in areas, and I didn't realize that until later. Just to see, you can see some crackage. But that's the number 2, and then way down there is the 7, 2, 7. Yeah, okay, we get it. All right, thanks, Mike. Talking to myself. So, and then there's this here. This looks like it collects all the water, and prevents it from leaking over to the other side, and then it drains out. There's also something that appears to be like a cement platform there. That might have been where they had like the pipe, and they had all the stuff for the pool. It's a really cool area. There's actually a guy I gotta bring out here. I think he would really enjoy it. So there we go. And I'm going to go over and we're going to go down into the pool a little further down. So let me go through some more of that history. So they used the park for a youth groups in the 1970s by the California Conservation Corps. And that went into the 1980s. And they also built they built another structure on the property, including they included 2 water towers as well, tanks. I don't know what the other structures were, but I do know where the water tanks are. We'll show those in a little bit. Phone's going off. Hold on. So, and then it was abandoned in the 1990s, and then in 1993. The fire prevention officials decided that the structure was just too much of a fire hazard. It could do a lot of damage when fires to happen, and it had to go. So they came out and burned it to the ground. Completely just destroyed everything, lit it up on fire, and down it went. That's just explaining the feat. So they burned it up, and then it just basically remained the same. So the brick fireplaces and stuff like that, we'll go to in a little bit in the pool, the tennis court. I think so. Somebody says it's an Olympic-sized pool, but I don't know what the requirements for an Olympic-sized pool are. I could Google it, but I don't have time. So we're going to go through here, and you think we're all done here, but we're not. So this is the bigger part of the property. Now this whole area here, from how these trees are, I could tell they had some kind of road going out here. Maybe it was further down there too, but it looks like this was a major line of passage here due to how these trees are aligned, and there's nothing in the center of it. And there's also, you can tell that there's kind of like remnants of a road. I've heard of some creepy experiences that people have had on Mount Diablo. The list goes on. But I've had some creepy things happen here. I came out here in the fog one time, and it kind of gave me this weird vibe. That's another story for another day. Ooh, it's a Halloween episode. Uh-oh. We're planning ahead here. See that tank way in the distance there? Right over there? And that's what I'm assuming they added, because it mentioned water tanks were added on this document that I found in a lab. down below the earth. No. And they were talking about the water tanks, and I'm assuming those are there on the corner. I didn't show too much of those, but you know, you guys can check that out when you come up here. This looks like it was probably an animal pens of some kind that they were raising animals, because it said they were raising animals. They had horses and stuff, and that's probably one of the areas that they were doing that. Nice little area. You can see that this must have been a really cool place to have a house. I mean, at least it appears that way. They said they really liked it. The guy said they had a good time. We're going to go through. Now, that right there is an oleander bush. Okay, that flowers, the kind of stuff you see on freeways. Those, no, they're not supposed to be here. There's not, yeah. So, those are poisonous. Don't nibble on them. But that was added here. Must have been added here by the family, the Green family. They put those in there. You can tell that they're parallel with each other. We're going to go down these stairs here and on to the next platform. This looks like this must have been like the main house for sure. I mean, from the pictures that I can see from history, it definitely appears to be the main house. It must have been like the kitchen area. There must have been the other section over there. You got the steps going up. I don't know where the doorway was, but you guys can come out here and find out for me. You know, yeah, leave comments down below. You go out here, you find more information. You know, could be stuff I don't know. Leave a comment down below, because I like to know. Now we're gonna go. We have all this brick here. Lots of different types of brick, and then there's fireplace. Yeah, it must have been like where they stored the logs to the left there, and then have that for their fireplace. They've got the other fireplace over here. It's just all this brick and tile, everything. The base gravel. This tree is taken over. There we are. So there's a fireplace there. Very cool. And like I said, they were trying to get this removed, but you can see already that there's a lot of removing to do. That is a lot of stuff. It's just not going to be possible. And this area gets a very, very, very light amount of traffic. I came up here on a weekend, and it was really, really busy, and there was nobody here. I ran into nobody. And this whole southeastern side of Mt Diablo doesn't get a lot of attention at all, especially the east side. Like Mt Diablo Mines, barely anybody ever goes there. That's another cool location. That's for another video. It gets barely any traffic. And it's just a spot that doesn't get... No one really goes to it. Not a lot of people know. I mean, I didn't know about this place until 10 or 15 years ago, Beth brought it up to me. And she was like, hey, do you know about the Green Ranch location? I'm like, what? There's another bathroom there. You can see the outlet there for the toilet. A bunch of porcelain on the ground. And she told me about it, and I was like, what? What are you talking about? And then you look on the map, and it says Green Ranch site. But I think a lot of people think it's like the Mountain House location, you know, or people like, oh, yeah, it's just a placard with some history, and then that's about it. No, there's like full-on evidence, you know. This is an old nail. This must have been one of the more recent nails that they probably used in the 1940s. I can just tell it's not your, it looks like it's kind of welded. It looks like one of the older nails. There's a significant difference in an old nail versus a new nail. Like, you know, old nail from the 30s. You'll see. I left a nail for you, so if you want to take a look at it, it's by the stairway. I'm sure there's other nails. So another bathroom there. More porcelain in that outlet coming out from the toilet. and me walking around. See a really good apocalyptic, very apocalyptic movie kind of location here. And then the earth stood still, and nobody returned. Alright, well, my days of narrating are over. So we're gonna keep going up, and there's one more tap over here. I see it's got that yellow coating, so that's probably a gas line. Yeah. And that must have been, maybe they had like a little barbecue pit there or something. And that is the end of all the GoPro footage. Time for some epic thumbnail. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. I appreciate it so much, and so does Beth. It's been an honor. I'll have a small fry and a burger. No, kidding. Alright guys, thank you so much for subscribing, all the wonderful subscribers we've been getting already, and the current ones we already have. It's just been fantastic. Thank you. We look forward to making more videos. Alright guys, stay tuned. How you doing? It's Tom with Houses People Don't Want Anymore. Anyways, we can see we've got some stucco here that really needs to be repaired. Some old cracks, so we're going to go ahead and buff that out real nice, and that's going to smooth it through, and we're going to get this pool back up and running again, and before you know it, we'll have margaritas and have pool parties all on the weekend all over again. There's another one. There we go. Oh yeah. I used to play tennis in my day. Oh yeah, I sucked. It took me like a good while to figure out how to swing correctly so the ball's not going over the fence. And I took tennis in PE with this guy who was like top of his class. Yeah, ultra score. And he was like MVP tennis player, and and I was like this loser. It was fun though. It was fun. He got frustrated, man. He was like, at one point he was like, why don't you just hang out over here and then let me play the match? Because he was so competitive.